Okay, well, we have no one watching so far. Fantastic. Yes. Let's get some viewers, shall we? Oh, we've got one person watching. Let me know. Oh, we've got plenty of people watching. Okay, cool. Awesome. Hello, everyone. Hello, Katie Starr. Can you all hear me? Hello, The Evil Monkey 5. The audio has an echo. Soundproofed all this. Look at this. Soundproofing. Crazy feedback. Okay, awesome. Great. Fantastic. That's not good. Here, let me just... Is that better? Is that the audio better? Hello, mates. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Let me know if the audio is better now. I lowered the gain on the microphone. Keep talking? Okay. Better? Is this better? Might just be the internet connection because this is a pretty decent microphone. Okay. No, let's not all say muffins, please. Okay. So, okay, so... Okay, cool. So, how is everyone doing tonight? Hello, Holmes Studio. And thanks, Benji D, for the feedback. Okay, so the reason that I'm live streaming right now is because this is the 10,000 subscriber special, and I know I'm at 14,000 right now, and but I figure if I get the special somewhere in between the two milestones, I've done something good. So sorry I've been away for a while. Life has been getting in the way, mainly school and such. But today we're going to be going through various deductions that people have made about me. This is a D&A instead of a Q&A, so deduction and answer, as opposed to question and answer. So, without further ado, let's get started into this whole shebang. So, back when I hit 2,000 subscribers, I basically said, hey, make deductions about me, and we'll see if you're right or not. Oh, lovely. Good to see you all in the comments section. Okay. So, we're going to get started with a couple of deductions here that people have made about me. Okay. So this is going to be at the in the comment section of a video I did a few months ago called 5 Real-Life Sherlock Holmeses. Could you become one? The answer to that question is probably not, but you know. So, this first deduction we're going to be starting with is from That Random Stranger. I hope he's watching, but I don't think he is. If you're watching That Random Stranger, let me know. No? Okay. Well, I'm sure he'll watch this live stream later in archive land. Okay. So, he says, first of all, he apologizes for his bad English. So, he wants to know, he wants to see if he's correct, and he says that I am between the ages of 18 and 30 years old. Wow, that went from mildly flattering to mildly worrying in a few seconds. I mean, do I really look that old? 30? Come on. No, the answer is neither of those. I'm a little bit younger than 18, actually. 17 to be clear. Okay, so you're between the ages of 18 and 30 years old. Wrong, but definitely an adult, what I think because of your elegant way to speak. Much too mature for a teenager. Well, I have been told I'm wise beyond my years and all that, but, you know, I don't want to get to my head. usually. As you but still not that old. I suppose you live in an apartment without your parents. Since the first deduction is wrong, this deduction is also wrong. I do live with my parents, not in an apartment. Okay. And he says, in your facecam videos, you often make sure that there's nothing that really attracts attention, so you either don't like it when people are not focused on important things, or you don't like when people ignore you. Maybe both. Yeah, I'd say there's some truth to that, but the thing is with those facecam videos is that it's really awkward with, acting opposite a camera. It's a lot different when you have someone to talk to than it is when you're just talking into the black death that is a camera lens. It's just an abyss, and it's quite intimidating to talk to it, because you feel crazy. Glad to know that the audio is fixed, and cheers, Complex Designs, on being the same age as me. Guide to Deduction, love your videos. Love the videos made. Feeling very muffin... And let's not say muffins, please. Okay, cool. I'm just going to go through the comments real quick. Well, this is Black Magic 17. I thought you were 19. Okay, awesome. Alright, so back to the deduction. In your facecam video, okay, your self-esteem is rather not that high. I would beg to differ. In some of your facecam videos, you stop talking suddenly because you are checking what you just said is correct, but I would still consider you as a normal level of S-E, which I imagine is reference to personality types. Let's not get into that right now. But, again, looking into the depth that is a camera lens is a little bit difficult. And plus, back in those days, I was just starting out with deduction, and I was kind of compiling the research. It wasn't what it is now. The channel wasn't what it is now, where I'm telling you all the things that I've learned and have studied already and have applied. Back then, I was more like the channel was just a place for me to put the ideas of the things that I was learning. It was a way to help me to learn. But now that I'm better at deduction, I'm a better deductionist, and the channel is a lot bigger. This is a lot more about education than it is about my self-improvement. But back then, when I had like 50 subscribers, it was literally just like a vlog journal for me. So that was the reason it was a little bit awkward. Okay. The rest of your videos, you are talking really good and nearly without any ahms. So I suppose you are A, good in memorizing things, or B, very planned. Well, very planned is correct because I script my videos these days. Except for this one. This is just a live stream. Okay. Nice. Thanks, Benji D, for not going to bed and choosing to watch the live stream instead. Yeah, practical deduction. I totally know what you mean. I was watching some of your videos today, actually. I'm really looking forward to seeing what your channel has to offer. Everyone, if you haven't seen Practical Deductions videos, you should go and watch them. It's they're good, and I'm really liking the direction that channel is going in. Okay, you should do another mini-series that teaches how to deduct. It's actually deduce. Deduct has to do with deducting, as in subtracting, taking away things, that sort of thing. Deduction and deducting are different. It's the proper term is deduce, but I don't like to stress over terminology, so it's whatever. What made you do a live stream? Hannah, yes. Hannah, you convinced me to do a live stream. Thank you for that. Okay. Yeah, no problem, practical deduction. Alright. So, okay, some more deductions here. Ba-ba-da-ba. This is still on that same video. Okay, Mycroft Holmes says, okay, from the... I can already tell this is going to be a treat. Mycroft Holmes. Alright, let's see what you got there, Mycroft. Okay. From your videos, I can tell that you have a low to medium paying job close to your home. Well, that is not currently the case, but I am putting in a resume to a place to get a job that is close to my home. But I am a dependent still. You're in a relationship and it is going well? No. You know, romantic entanglement frightens me. You are inspired by Sherlock Holmes and you aspire to become him. No, I did make a video about not emulating Sherlock Holmes. I am inspired by Sherlock Holmes. You did get that one right. But I don't aspire to be him. I just want to obtain his skill. But as you can totally see, I'm much more eccentric than Sherlock Holmes. I'm definitely not the stoic, cold-faced reasoning machine that Sherlock Holmes is. And I still have a lot to learn in terms of deduction. You are 5'6" to 6'2" in height, and you have a size of 7 to 11 feet. Well, those are some pretty big margins. I'm gonna say you're correct on that. Yeah, you did get that right. I'm not gonna tell you the exact measurements, but within those broad measurements, you did get it correct. All right. Yes, you can send me things to deduce, a guide to deduction. Send them to my email account, which is theartofdeductivereasoning@gmail.com. I'll put it in the comments here. Oh, hello, Lana. Thank you, Gabrielle Yuri. Yeah, you should probably get some sleep if it's too late. Yeah, romantic engagements at high school level are scary, definitely. Definitely. Okay, let's see some more comments here. Ba-ba-da-ba. Yeah, David. I'm not gonna say your last name because I'm afraid I'll butcher it. But I'm gonna do some videos in the future on how to make various different types of deductions. So like deducing things about people that you know is a topic that I'm going to get into, because it's a lot different than just making deductions about random strangers. Because when it comes to people you already know, you likely know these things already that you would normally deduce. So it's a bit different, and there's a much different approach that you have to take. It has more to do with observing patterns, but that video is coming out soon. Okay, got a question here from Katie Starr. So how do you find the time to make videos and go to school? I cannot find time to focus enough even to begin to compiling information into my mind palace with the amount of homework I have. Yeah, it's a struggle. The reason I haven't uploaded in a month is because of school. The reason my upload schedule is as haphazard as it is because of school. But the thing is that, like, when I get started on something, I just can't stop, which is why my videos are usually uploaded at 4 in the morning, or I live stream at 10 or 11 at night. So when I get started on something, I just can't stop. So usually I'll just start doing a video, or do a portion of a video. Like, I'll do the audio for a video one day, I'll get the footage for a video the next day, and then I'll edit it all together the day afterwards. And like, I just zone in and don't think about anything else. So I usually reserve that for the weekends. What am I going to major in? I'm not sure. Probably either psychology or criminal justice, criminology, that sort of thing. I am a senior in high school. Yes, Hannah, you're welcome for your shout out. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so next deduction here, still at the same video. This is from Direwolf202. Lovely. Okay. When performing deductions, I always start with personality types. No! That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. No. Okay, so I know I talked about personality types before in my video, why you shouldn't emulate Sherlock Holmes. And oh, thank you, Get Fixed, for the wow, thank you for the $2. That thank you. First donation ever. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, if you ask dumb questions, I'm just gonna let you know that I'm not gonna answer dumb questions. Okay, goodbye, WCIS. Yeah, that probably will buy my next meal. Thanks again, Benji. Okay, okay, so back to the deduction. So personality types. I know I talked about that in my my video why you shouldn't emulate Sherlock Holmes, which has become my most controversial and most viewed video on my channel, which is I can't say that I don't appreciate that. I do like the fact that it's so viewed and people just kind of argue in the comments. But the thing is, people kind of miss the point. It wasn't about personality types. I use personality types to illustrate a point. But I didn't mean to make personality types out to what they are. So if you want my real thoughts on personality types, here it is. They're good for getting general information about a person. They are flawed in many ways, and especially when you try and stretch them out into something that they're not, in the sense of making them out to be sort of, these things to give you super specific information about a person. So, people who take the personality test as gospel, that's really a bad route to go. And people who think that there's nothing good to offer, I would beg to differ. I'd say there is some things that you can learn from a personality test, but they're definitely general things, and don't stretch it out of proportion. I am an INTJ. I did say that in that video. Look, guys, if you got homework to do, please, you can do that. The live stream probably isn't important enough. Okay, I got an email just now from Kaylee Richardson to deduce a photograph. I might do that in this live stream at the end, but you did get the right address. Maybe I might save it for another video for another time, but maybe not. So we'll see. Anyway, so back to this. Yeah, they definitely don't get the complexity of a person. They give you some general information. But even then, there's I got a comment today about, hey, I'm not sure if I'm an introvert or an extrovert. I'm kind of both. And there's such a thing as an ambivert, someone who is kind of in between. Am I too outspoken for an INTP? That's exactly why I don't limit myself to personality types. Graphology is there is some merit to it, definitely. I took a forensics class in my sophomore year, and we did go through a chapter on graphology and handwriting analysis and all that. And there is a lot of things that can be deduced about a person's handwriting, and you can determine if a person's handwriting is matches and all those different things. But there are a lot of factors to come into play. So you do have to have. It's not just something that you can just pick up and just do on the spot. You do have to have some training and some prior knowledge. A guide to deduction. When did you send me an email? Yes, you can deduce some things from a person about through a piece of writing. Like, for instance, if there is indication of a lot of pressure put on the paper through the pencil, that indicates like maybe anxiety, maybe they were rushing. There are different things that you can deduce about the state of the person at that time. Beyond that, you can, by the language that they use, the vernacular that they use, the sentence structure that they have, you can deduce some things about their personality. You can even determine maybe if they're female or male. There's some merit to that, but definitely more research that needs to be done into that if you want to utilize that. I might do a video on it sometime in the future. What state do I live in? As in, like, state of the country? Or I'm not a computer person. I'm sorry. Get fixed. I'm totally not. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the deductions real quick, and then answer your comments in a minute. Okay, so back to Direwolf 202's comment. When performing deductions, I always start with personality types. Bad idea. INTJ. Yes, correct. Is my thought. I think this because you create well-structured, well-edited videos. Well, I'll take that as a compliment. Yeah, sentence structure is very important. Okay, back to the deduction. I see that you are introverted because you work as a YouTuber, your large knowledge base, that considering an age of at most 28. Wow, you guys are really highballing me. I'm not that old. Okay, so considering an age of at most 28 isn't likely for someone who spends so much time socializing. Yeah, I don't really socialize that much. I am quite introverted. Um, you think in a very structured, organized manner, correct, and you choose to study deduction in a very scientific way. Actually, no. I'd prefer to study deduction in a very artistic way. I was raised by an artist. My mom is a painter, an artist, art historian. I love art, and I love science too. But the thing I love about deduction is that it's a perfect blend, I feel, of science and art. There's an art to it, but there's also a structured, rigid form of science and logic to it. And I had the privilege the other week to go to this event called STEAM 2017, which of course incorporates the STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, and math, but also art. And the thing that I learned from these speakers is that science and art are having more and more collaborations these days. And basically, one of the big reasons is that art is a very human expression, right? And the universe isn't necessarily designed in a way that is intuitive for us to understand. So approaching science and applying art and our artistic thinking to science allows us to better understand the universe around us. Oh, practical deduction. You making doing a study on making deductions via art? Yeah. Part of my part of my training that I do is that I make deductions about works of art. It's it's really good. You should try it. Um, oh, you weren't talking to me. Get fixed. Okay, never mind. Um, yeah, in terms of making deductions about art, basically what you have to research is the time period, the artist, and the work itself. So the time period, the socioeconomic situation, like if we're talking about the Hellenistic period of Greece. So this is after the archaic, after the geometric period, after the archaic, after the classical and the high classical, we get to Hellenistic. So this is this is some of what generally comes to mind when we think of Greek sculpture. Uh, Greece reached realism in the classical period and high classical period particularly, and then but there was a romanticizing of the human form. There was definitely a elegance to the figures. In the Hellenistic period, the social state was there was more war. Alexander the Great had just conquered uh, a lot of the world. That was really what ushered in the Hellenistic period. And then we have some really not so great times with politics and social status and everything. And this is the last period of Greece before Greece falls and Rome takes over, basically. So the figure and the art was really reflective of the times and the fact that it wasn't a romanticizing of humanity. It was showing gritty reality. And so you take that time period, then you take the specific artist, and you look at the works that they've done, and you look at their history, their personal history, and what's going through their head. And then you look at the work itself. You look at the piece of art, and you try and figure out, based on what's there, the colors that they use. Color theory is, viable. The not just the colors, but the color palette. How those colors work together in the composition, how the composition is structured, what the subject matter is, that sort of thing. You really do have to study how art and composition works a little bit, and have a lot of background. So it's really like solving a mystery of you're digging deep into you know the history of this of the art, and really looking for all the pieces and putting them together, just like you would with a person with making a deduction. Is you're looking for all these different pieces of information that you can put together and then come up with a solid conclusion. Okay, that was a long-winded explanation of art. My apologies. Um, do you do any collecting or have any hobbies? Well, aside from YouTube and reading, I don't think I really have any hobbies. No. How do I do my research for deduction? Well, basically, I did a video on that. It was called Forging Success Out of Failure. Something like that. It was basically where I talk about whenever I'm stuck on something, whenever I don't have the knowledge base I need to solve a problem, I write it down in a notebook what it is that I'm lacking in, and I go and research it later. And I also have a structured, set of things that I need to improve my knowledge on, that I've pontificated on and realized after so many hours of making deductions, these are the things that are generally what I need to solve a problem. What's my favorite book? That's a tough one. Oh, I can't really answer that. Okay. Favorite piece of art from the Hellenistic period? I think mine would probably be the Dying Gaul. That's probably mine. Okay, back to the deductions. Oh, Mycroft here, or Dire Wolf here, has a little bit more to say. Okay. What? Seriously, man? Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you for tipping the stream. Wow, thank you. Your finger slipped. Come on. I don't think I'm worth wasting money on, but thank you so much. Real question though, what sparked your interest in deduction and creating this awesome channel? Okay, well, since you asked a real question, I'm gonna give you a real answer. I don't like doing this, but okay. So this is gonna seem really, really childish. But 4 meals, Lana. Shut up. Okay. When I was a kid, I always wanted to be a superhero. Essentially, that was my dream. My favorite superhero was Spider-Man. Second was Batman. And I always had this passion to try and do good in this world and to try and help people, save lives, that sort of thing. And I cannot tell you how many times I wished I had superpowers. But, superpowers don't really exist. And then I started looking into deduction, and I thought, wow, this is a real superpower that I can really use to do good. And that's basically how it started. Like, before that, I'd read Sherlock Holmes, but I thought, I don't think I can actually do that. That's probably something that, that you have to be gifted at naturally to be able to do. And then I watched the BBC version of Sherlock, and I was like, wow, this is... Seeing his logic behind his deductions really fleshed it out for me. It really made me see, wow, you can actually do this? And I started thinking about it more and more. And also I had matured a little bit in my mind and thinking from when I had originally read the stories, which was when I was a kid. I was a teenager at this point, and I was like, wow. So I started researching it online. There was very little resources back then online about deduction. And I'm pretty much self-taught. And so I started the channel to kind of act as a hub for people who were in my state. People who were researching deduction, but there was no YouTube channel. There was a few blogs, but nothing else about deduction online. I mean, obviously there have been books about it and everything, but I didn't have any money at the time. Still don't. Until now. Thank you. But yeah, so I just started the channel, and it was really just not only a hub for people to find information about deduction, but also a place for me to really, compile my thoughts, compile my research, compile all these things that I was learning, and to help me, to force me to contextualize and iterate these things in a structured form, because I'm a big believer in the philosophy that one of the best ways to learn is to teach, because you have to articulate it in your mind in a concise, logical way to be able to explain it to another person. And so that's how I started the channel. This channel was really started to help me as a deductionist, but also help others through what I was learning who were also interested in deduction. The Evil Monkey 5, don't waste your money if you're going to ask a dumb question. But, not any question. There are some lines I won't cross, some questions I won't answer. If you're going to waste your money on me, please make it worth something for you. Okay, do I watch Doctor Who? No, I'm sorry, I don't. If you're looking for a Huion, Sharon Ford is your guy. He's like super big into Doctor Who. But me personally, I tried watching it at one point. It was okay, but it was a little too campy for me, and I don't think I got into it early enough, and I wasn't really surrounded by that culture, so I didn't really get into it like other people do. Have I ever taken an IQ test? Well, I did take an IQ test when I was in 5th grade, but they never gave me the results back. I haven't taken an IQ test since, and honestly, I'm not really interested in it, I tend to think that I might have a slightly higher than average thinking capacity, intelligence quotient, but, I don't think I'm anywhere like genius level or Einstein or Newton. Because in terms of IQ, Einstein actually wasn't that high. He was in the 140s, which is barely cutting it for genius. Newton was almost 200, but anyway, so I might get an IQ test in sometime in the future, but it's not that high on my priorities. As long as I can do the things that I want to be able to do, and improve my intelligence and improve all that I don't really need to put a number to that. Okay, yeah, let me see if I got that email. Hey, a guide to deduction. The email I got is from a Kaylee Richardson, and it has the profile picture that you have. So I assume it is you. So I'll email you later. I have to jog every morning. Actually, I have weak arches, so every time I go for a run, my feet lock up. So I don't really get the chance to get a good cardio workout just running because my feet are messed up. So, yeah, I've been pretty good at academics for, pretty much all my life. It's finding the right balance. Like I don't make it my obsession, but I do pretty much get A's and B's. If I were to make it my obsession, I'd probably be a straight A student, but education to me is more than academia. Oh, it's cool. I mean, my feet aren't messed up that bad, and I can still get a good cardio workout from going on the elliptical machine or something, or biking or something like that. But running is just painful for me on my feet. And it would be even more painful probably if I was able to get a decent cardio workout out of it. I need to work on cardio, definitely. Yeah, definitely practical deduction. We should totally work together sometime. I'm really looking forward to your channel and what you have to offer in the future. Yeah, feel free to drop out if you want. You can stay if you'd like, but it's been good having you. I do have plans outside of YouTube, yes, but consulting detective is kind of the dream. Having a consultation firm, being a commodity, being that good. That is the dream, and I would love to be able to do something like that. If I can make that feasible, I'll definitely try. But, yeah, see practical deduction. When did I first read a Sherlock Holmes book? I might have been 10, maybe 11. It's been a long time. I was introduced to Sherlock Holmes pretty early, but I wasn't really into Sherlock Holmes until about 3 years ago. Goodbye, Fire Minecraft guy, and more. Hey, before you started this channel, did people know you are smart? And yeah, I mean, I've always been intelligent in the sense of articulating argumentation and, that sort of thing, and thinking about things. But I was never really observant. That's been the big thing that I've had to work on in deduction. But I didn't apply my intelligence in the way that I do now. It was in different areas, so I've just taken the things that I'm good at and started redirecting them. Do I remember any times when I used my deductive reasoning and made some fairly large leap to a conclusion just on a regular day? That doesn't really happen often. I don't like to make large leaps, and I certainly don't like to act on large leaps. I like to have as much data as possible. Yes, I have been able to make deductions about people in the comment section of my videos. Absolutely. You'd be surprised what bits of pieces of information you guys leave whenever you say something. It's, I don't leap in logic, but I can definitely pick up some things about what kind of a person the commenter is. No, I'm not L. Okay, anime. I love anime. I'm gonna let you know right now. I love anime. I'm not going to do a video on L, though. I liked Death Note. Death Note was cool. L was a cool character. He's not realistic, though. Sherlock Holmes is pushing the envelope as it is. L is just like, really? Especially with those percentages. My goodness. Anything interesting I'd like to share? Okay, goodbye, Sherman Singh, if you got to do homework. Thank you. I'll try and keep the vids up. What do I think about love? Moving on, anything interesting I'd like to share? Everyone's leaving because it's late, Hannah. Ugh. Okay, so let's finish some of these deductions. As for finishing up Direwolf 202's deduction, am I right? You were also born in and grew up in the United States with a low and middle income family, and you have a sibling? Yes, all correct. Let's see, another one here. Jason. You obviously want to be like Sherlock. You are a heterosexual, observant, rational, logical thinker. Of course, limited. All that is correct. I want to be like Sherlock in the sense I want to think like him. I am heterosexual. I am observant. I am rational. I am logical. And, of course, all that mental ability has its limits. You don't go to school anymore, university. Actually, I'm still in high school, still senior. We've established that already. Nope, I don't perceive that as something you would want to do. University? Yeah, I'm planning on going to college. You don't have a girlfriend and you live with your parents. This is correct. You seem pretty introverted. You also seem organized, and you are a No, wait. That's my friend who looks like you who is a vegetarian. This person is very lucid in their comment. You see what I mean about being able to figure some things out about people based on the way they comment? No, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan. I eat the flesh of deceased animals without remorse. Okay. I don't watch any of your videos in about a month, so I only remember you wearing a black trench coat, having blue eyes, blah, 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 short brown hair. Yeah, probably everything is wrong. You didn't get everything wrong. Okay, so back to the comments here. Have I ever felt like I can't reason with other people? Yeah. I mean, when talking to people don't just think rationally. I don't just think rationally all the time. Depending on the subject, emotions do come to play. Like, I'm not a sociopath. I do have emotions, but I think the difference between me and other people that I talk to and have difficulties reasoning with is that I have trained myself and have somewhat of a natural ability to be able to put my emotions aside. And sometimes that's more difficult than others. But, just like courage is not the absence of fear, but the mastery over it, the mastery over emotions is better than not having emotions. Emotions have their place. Emotions can be used to drive your mind to think about things. Anger, for instance, lets you know that something is wrong, right? That something is unfair. That something it makes your blood boil. Now you don't want that affecting your reasoning, but if you can feel that anger and then realize, there's something wrong here, and then be able to put that anger aside and then just focus and be able to not feel angry but think about things, then the emotion has served its purpose. If the anger construes your thought, then the emotion has encroached upon the purpose of your mind. That's the danger, and that's what you have to train in, and it's really difficult. How to score perfect on the SAT? Use the Mind Palace! I love steak. Yeah. Okay. Isn't it smarter if you do not get affected by emotions and just like more logical than emotional? Again, emotions have their place. Don't let them encroach upon logic. Yeah, it's cool to have like-minded people. Okay, cool. Let's go to another deduction. I think this will be the last deduction. This one is going to be on a different video. Funny enough, this video was deemed by YouTube to be not advertiser-friendly. I can't imagine why. It's an update vlog that I did about half a year ago when I was moving, and it was explaining why I wasn't uploading lately. And basically all I was saying was that I was just walking around my empty house. And that's it. And YouTube said, it's not advertiser friendly. They sent me an email and everything, and I was like, what? I appealed for it, and then the very next day, they restored monetization on it. Not like I really needed on that video. It's not a very viewed video, but still, it's just the principle of the matter. But if you follow me on Facebook, which you should, The Art of Deduction on Facebook, then you would have already known that. Anyway, so this is on that video. Okay, before I get into this deduction, I'll answer some of your questions. Do you ever get obsessed with something you're interested in to the point that it dominates a large percent of your thinking? I made a YouTube channel about deduction, which was something that I was kind of interested in when I was 14, and I haven't lost that interest, and I'm 17 now. I'm pretty sure it's become my obsession. With the amount of work and that I put into this channel, I think it's pretty much deduction has become my obsession, and YouTube is probably second to that. Do I have a Mind Palace? Yes. Are you putting up any other observation videos? Yes, I will be putting up some observation videos about... I'm planning on making a video about observation techniques, training exercises that you can use to bolster your observational abilities, kind of as a follow-up to my last video. But some people be like, he's insane, when you be like, when you don't get affected by emotions. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know what you mean. Have you read a book by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar called Mycroft Holmes? It is a book about his Sherlock's brother, obviously. No, I haven't read that. Sounds like a waste of time. Just kidding. Unless, no, I'm not sure. I don't really have the time for that. Have you learned body language? I have a bit of emotional illiteracy. It's difficult for me to understand. It was difficult for me to naturally understand emotions. So when I started getting into nonverbal communication, especially with Observe's channel, shout out to him. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to him. Yeah, it was... that's when I started learning the science behind the face, the body, and all of that. It allowed me to... My prior disposition of not being able to naturally read emotions very well actually put me in a bit of an advantage because I was strictly able to learn the science and not be clouded by intuition, which is both a blessing and a curse. What are my thoughts on the use of the Mind Palace for, say, cognitive purposes as it was used in The Abominable Bride, for example? Sherlock, the BBC Sherlock, has taken some liberties with both Sherlock's deductive abilities as well as techniques like the Mind Palace. I've done mental simulations in my head before, but they're still bound by what you know and what you think will happen. It depends on if you're making a simulation about an interaction with a person, it really depends on how well you know that person. And that will determine the accuracy of the simulation. But at the end of the day, it's your imagination. And your imagination can be influenced by more than just your rational thinking. It can be influenced by your emotions. It can be influenced by what you would... When we imagine things like that, we embellish things a lot. That's the danger. Like, the Mind Palace itself, technically it's not even called a Mind Palace, it's called a Memory Palace, because it's simply a memory technique. But you can use visual imagination to simulate things in your mind, such as in The Abominable Bride, but your accuracy is probably going to be limited with that, as well as depending on how imaginative you are visually speaking, it's not going to be as vivid unless you are on drugs, which don't do drugs, kids. What are one of the easiest things to deduce? Dominant hand, activity level, and what's the third one? I make these deductions every day. It's late for me. Activity level, dominant hand, and approximate age. Those are the passing deductions that I make. Those are super easy to make. How does the Mind Palace of mine look like? It's basically this house combined with a library that I go to. Which Sherlock do you like more, BBC or whoever played Iron Man? Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock was the first film adaptation of Sherlock Holmes that I've ever seen. Definitely not my favorite. I mean, Robert Downey Jr., he's a good actor and everything, but his rendition of Sherlock Holmes is unrealistic. And it was one of the reasons why I didn't think that his abilities were real for a while. But definitely Benedict Cumberbatch. My Mind Palace is the TARDIS. That's nice. You and Sharon Ford have that in common. Have you ever been given a harsh nickname because you put your emotions aside? Not really. Yeah, I'll do some more observation videos. What are your future ambitions? I've already talked about that. Have you ever wanted to be like in a psychology thriller game with someone, like 1 versus 1, mind games, outsmarting each other? It's always been a fantasy of mine. I've lost a few friends that way. Okay. Do a video on the Mind Palace eventually. Paul Ekman, go read his books. I haven't read him yet. I've been planning to, but I've been too busy. But Logan over at the Observe, he's done some book reviews, and one of them was a Paul Ekman book. Definitely research him if you want to know anything about nonverbal communication, facial expressions, body language, that sort of thing. Okay. Back to this deduction. This is going to be the final deduction about me. This is from a person called Matt Gallus. And he starts off with character analysis of The Art of Deduction. Judging by your backyard, swamp-like terrain, I deduce you live in South Florida. Mind you, this was me walking around my empty house. No, I don't live in South Florida, and no, my backyard wasn't swampy. It was just very, very much a lot of foliage. Near a major highway. No, like there was a pretty major road in the city, but not a highway. Pretty near. Judging by this also, I would gather you live in the suburbs or a more populated area based on car frequency noise. You are correct on that. I was living in the suburbs. Still am. I am also certain that you live with multiple family members. This is also correct. My first clue was that when you gave the exercise, place things on a table and watch it be swapped out, that exercise can only be practiced in a setting with others around. Now, I got that technique, that training exercise from Ben Cardall's book, The Monographs. Definitely check that out if you haven't read it already. So even if I was living alone, I would still give that training exercise to you guys because I think it is a good exercise, even if I can't use it. Yes, JJ Sedler, you can have a shout out. Okay. The second clue was that when your mom's voice appeared in a prior video I had watched. Yes. Good job. The nail in the coffin of that mystery lay solved when you said "we" moved. The key word was "we." Based on the tone of "we," I would say that you live with more than your mom, and there are others about, perhaps a father figure or a couple of siblings. This is also correct. I also gathered that with the size of your backyard and how your fence appears to be set up, you have neighbors on both sides of you at about 10 to 20 yards away. Correct. I am gathering that you did not move far because I'm assuming you go to college. Incorrect. We've already discussed this. Senior in high school. Based on your intelligence and middle upper class demeanor and the messy books on the table in the video. Now, my mom is a college professor of art history, that sort of thing, so that we have a lot of college books around. And could not have moved far. Another hint was when you said we were too busy to make videos while moving. Clearly, there are a few things tying up your time, and you appear to be of college age, so I assume it is university giving you a hectic lifestyle. This is actually, again, incorrect. That move was just hectic, just the moving aspect of it, mainly because we were moving into a smaller house, so we had to move a lot of our stuff into a storage unit. So it was back and forth, and we just had a lot of junk. A lot of junk that is now in my mom's studio. A lot of painting equipment and stuff. Based on your love of books, you have many in the background. I believe your parents read to you as a baby, so they're very caring and honest people. I would say, yeah, that's correct. And you are an introvert. I also deduce from your cool and calm demeanor. I'll take that as a compliment. Your videos are professionally organized and structured well, so I gather this is either a big passion project of yours or you have a background in film. Kind of both. I have an internship at an institute in the media department of this particular institute. And I work with some really cool people and do a lot of cool camera stuff. So I do have some training in videography and that sort of thing. And this is also a big passion project of mine. There's either some external motivation here, or that is because you really love Sherlock Holmes, or you are practicing your filmmaking skills for a future career. I don't plan on getting into film for my career. I feel like you have gone the extra mile here, so some more than other YouTubers, and that says that you have a practical and down-to-earth attitude. You may also have an experience in public speaking here, because I hear no ums or ahs in your speech. You definitely did not watch my original facecam videos, because there were a lot of those. You were either studying in film or perhaps involved in law enforcement. You talked about knowing observational skills for law enforcement in the past video, and take it you for the practical type. I'm guessing police officer because you have talked about martial arts, and knowing these skills could come more in handy as an officer of the law than, say, a lawyer. Again, consulting detective would be like the dream, having a consultation firm, being like a consultant, being a commodity in that sense. If I could do that, if that's feasible, I'm definitely going to try it. So, being a part of, an official part of law enforcement, not necessarily my first choice. Anyway, back to your questions. Oh, hey, Jay Gonzalez. Deep breaths, my friend. Relax. Yes, I know. I'm quite long-winded when I speak. Oh, hey, Observe. You're here. Well, isn't this a delight? Good to see you, my friend. If you're not subscribed to Observe, go subscribe to him right now. That's an order. And watch all of his videos, and make sure you watch the entire ads, and in front of every one of his videos. He needs the support. Do it. Okay. How can I remember a vocabulary? I can't do it with MindPalace. You can if you associate the sound of the word with how it sounds with another word. So, take for instance the word defenestrate. This is my favorite word in the English language. It is the act of throwing a person or thing out of a window. It comes from the Latin finestra, which is also still the Italian word for window, finestra. And defenestrate means to throw a person or thing out of a window. So if I were to take the mind palace technique and apply it to this word, I would think of maybe defenestrate. It kind of sounds like defeathering. So maybe a chicken that has its feathers being pulled out is being thrown out of a window. So the crazier the image is, the better. So that's how you can use the mind palace to remember vocabulary. Which question have I not answered from you, Rahith? Do I want to be a con artist? Confusing to get exactly what you want. I mean, you're not a detective, so your deductive skills are pretty much useless. We've already talked about this. I don't want to be a con artist. Jay, I talked about what my mind palace is a little bit ago before you joined the stream. It is basically my house, as well as combined with with the downtown public library that I go to all the time. So that's my mind palace. You know what? I'm thinking about doing some live streams more often. A guide to deduction. I think it would be a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun here. Thanks, Observe. Glad to see you on the live stream. You should join me sometime. Okay, goodbye, Hannah. I am enjoying myself. I probably won't stop for a while. Oh, I'm sorry, Laura, Victoria, and Neeson. You have to go to school now. I am probably going to stop pretty soon. But if you guys have any more questions, how often am I going to live stream? I have no idea. This is my first time doing this. So I like to plan things out a little bit more. So just give me a minute. I'm not sure. You know, maybe once a month. I don't know. It depends on you know, how much you guys really want me to do a live stream. So if you really want me to do a live stream, I don't know, leave a like or something. Yes, Hannah, I know. Thank you for talking me into doing this live stream. Blah 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 blah. Okay, any more legit questions? Because this is gonna go nowhere fast. Then I'm gonna have to end it, unfortunately. So, please ask more questions, because I'm done talking about the deductions people have made of me. Yeah, that would be crazy. Observe, we should totally do something like that. Probably a live stream first, and then, you know, eventually, as time progresses, we can find a way to do, like, a live collaboration. Maybe we'll run into each other at one of those cons, maybe VidCon or something like that. I'm thinking about going to that next year. A guide to deduction, you should do a schedule in your videos, and we really want you to do a live stream. Okay, I'll do more live streams, and I'll try and keep a decent schedule. My opinion on Season 4, I assume you mean Sherlock. I absolutely loved it, but the thing is, I don't love it from the standpoint of, wow, this is just a great piece of work to dissect and develop strategies for making deductions. Now, when I watch Sherlock, I watch it to be entertained. I don't watch it to get knowledge and insight. You know, it gets me thinking about things, but it's at the same time it's fiction. So, what time zone do I live in? Psh, I said what time I was in earlier in the live stream. You can figure it out. I'm not just gonna spoon feed you guys information. Yeah, definitely observe. Jay, is geography important to the makings of a good detective? I would say so, particularly local geography. Oh, going back to my thoughts on Season 4, episode by episode, I would say that episode 1 was great. I really enjoyed it. It felt, you know, like a classic Sherlock episode, and until the end, you know. That did kind of catch me by surprise, but again, I kind of tune out whenever I watch Sherlock. I don't watch it trying to solve the mystery. I just watch it because it's fun. You know what I mean?
Episode 2 was really trippy, and again, don't do drugs, kids. But seriously, the cinematography that they did was amazing. I watched a video actually from this YouTube channel I watched called The Nerd Writer, and he did a dissection of that scene where Sherlock makes his deductions about the anybody, the name being anyone, and that like 3 minute scene where he gets stopped in the middle of the street and then is found at Baker Street and everything, and he explains the cinematography and all that. And coming from a guy who loves making films and who does that pretty much for a living at this point, that's, to me, is fantastic. I love the interesting ways they did cinematography in not just that episode but the entire season. And then the last episode, they went, they really went with the Batman approach, the sort of Arkham Asylum sort of thing, which was cool. I love Batman, but maybe a little much for Sherlock. But I think that in terms of character development and everything, they really did what needed to be done. I haven't watched Elementary, but I've been meaning to. Yes, Josh Smith, you are on the right track. That should narrow it down to about, 2 time zones. I haven't watched Elementary. Clyde the Great, hello there, sir. You have a very, very fancy name there. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions? Questions. Deductions? Anyone want to make some deductions about me? This whole live stream was about going through deductions, so anyone want to take a stab at that? It's okay, I'll wait. You mean the canon of Sherlock Holmes? Dr. Bell and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle were deductionists of their time. So, yeah, there's a lot to be seen as far as techniques from the Sherlock Holmes books. But, even that is limited because Conan Doyle built in some creative license. He was writing from the standpoint of Dr. John Watson. And what did Sherlock always say about Watson's stories? They were embellishments. So even Doyle stretched the truth a little bit, stretched the true abilities of Sherlock Holmes, the true deduction capability, just a little bit for creative license. There's a lot of good stuff that you can get from the canon, the Sherlock Holmes original stories, but, there's a lot to be, there's a lot more to look into, and there's a lot of things you got to sift through, and that's why I like to work through trial and error and see and kind of throw things to the wall sometimes, just techniques, throw that to the wall and see what sticks. These days I only make videos about the ones that do stick. Okay. I don't know the date, so I'm not going to tell you. Who is my Watson? Okay, Nightshade. Well, I have multiple Watsons. I made a video about the Watson factor. Go watch that. I explain everything about Watsons and why you need second opinions and all that cool stuff. Okay, there's a person here. Ayume Lasti. I'm sorry again if I butcher any of your names, real or otherwise. They say, "Oh, I've got a question." Okay, let's hear it. Oh, is there a way to tell a person's hobbies from the way they act? Yeah, you can, sort of. Like, say, for instance, if you've got a very meticulous person, very steady hands, very delicate with the way that they move with their fingers and everything, you can kind of narrow the field down to the things that they would be good at. So things like building a house of cards, or model making, or something to do with very small things, or maybe musical instruments, So you can narrow it down there. And without a specific example, it's kind of difficult. But yeah, it's more than just the way they act. You can narrow some things down by the way they act, of the things that they might like to do, the things that they could do very well. But there's physical evidence that you can look for that can also tell you specifically. Like if you see little bits of glue on a person's fingertip, then maybe that's more of a modeler, using the model glue and everything, and that would indicate that they had just, they haven't washed all the glue off since they last modeled, so it's probably they were modeling today, and there's more things you can do, da 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 da. Have I watched Lie to Me? So many times. I was into that before I was into Sherlock. But again, I also thought back when I was a kid and when I was stupid that that too was also something that was beyond the scope of normal human capability. But now, thanks to some research and Observe Entertainment, well, he's not going by Observe Entertainment anymore, it's just Observe, I have learned otherwise. Beauty by Sid says hi, hello. ARK says you suck. Okay. What is my favorite movie? Favorite movie. We kind of limited to genres at this point. Like. Okay, my favorite movie overall, like by all standards, when it comes to cinematography, storytelling, plot, lack of plot holes, character development, just good storytelling in the format of film. I'd probably say, on all accounts, my favorite film is Hunt for Red October. Fantastic film. Sean Connery in it and some other fantastic actors. You should definitely watch it. No, I've not watched Elementary. What would I recommend for someone who's trying to take seriously becoming a cool detective like Holmes? Watch my channel. That's what it's there for. Itsuaki Tatsu... I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but guy with the TARDIS for his profile picture or her profile picture. I'm not reading all your comments, unfortunately. Something about his personality's been destroyed, blah blah blah. It's very hard to follow. I'm sorry. There are so many other comments. Hey, Observe. You say I'm super interested with everything that you have done with this channel, and I'm stoked for any collab streams and meetups that we do in the future. For now, I have to go. Sad face. Cheers. Yes, my man. We should definitely do collaborations and live streams more often. And I am very impressed and looking forward to what you've got in store in the future for your channel as well. So if you gotta go, I'll see you, dude. I know you're busy, and it's probably late for you. So we'll get in touch later. No, I wasn't out. What coat in the background? There's no coat in this background. There's this foam, this sound-absorbing foam. There's some laundry that I have to put away on the bed over there. But other than that, yeah. I did go out earlier today, but I did change for this live stream, and I didn't wear a coat because it's super hot where I am. So that deduction is incorrect. Is there anything else other than Sherlock Holmes that I have a fascination with? Comic books. Philosophy. Martial arts. Science. Art. I've been called a Renaissance man and a jack of all trades. I like to dabble in everything. If I've already answered a question, I'm not going to reiterate it. Okay, Clyde the Great. After this live stream is done, rewind to earlier in the live stream where I talk about personality types, because they're good for general information, not really good for specific information. You put people into a box that they don't necessarily completely conform to. If you make personality types super specific to a person, then you're doing it wrong. Personality types are decent tools to get some general information about a person. Definitely not to be taken too far. Any tips on creating a mind palace? Not off the top of my head. It's really I'd get into a long-winded explanation, but I'll make a video on it soon. Favorite Holmes moment from the BBC? All of them. I have learned body language. Guide to Deduction says, this is a deduction. You seem to always have a nice coat in your videos, so why do you have nice clothes? Are you extroverted? No, because you're stuttering, indicating you're antisocial, introverted. I am introverted. I'm asocial, not antisocial. There's a difference there in terms of psychopathy and sociopathy. But that has to do more with... It's interesting stuff. Look it up. But I don't like to obsess over terminology. I wear nice clothes because I like it. I like looking kind of dapper, kind of professional, semi-professional. I like that aesthetic. I like that look. I like that feel. I like wearing, a nice button-up shirt, a nice coat, a nice jacket, but I don't like to go super dressy. I don't like wearing ties. Usually, if I'm wearing a shirt like this, I'll be wearing jeans, usually dark blue or black, but, it's just my preferred taste, and my taste has evolved over the years. I used to be more of a jeans and a t-shirt guy, but now I'm more of a jeans and a button-up shirt with the sleeves rolled up kind of guy. That's... And the more professional... I don't mind dressing up at all. Like if I need to be more professional for a particular occasion, I'll go more professional. Like, seriously, I carry around a pocket watch all the time in my jeans. Like the key pocket in your jeans is designed for a pocket watch. When I realized that, I got a pocket watch. I was like, I'm going to carry this around everywhere. Actually, this is a pretty cool pocket watch. A friend of mine went to London and got this from the Sherlock Holmes Museum, 221B Baker Street. Hang on. Clip to my belt. So yeah, this is a pretty cool pocket watch. So, just kidding. I don't do hypnotism. Ark just wanted to see my reaction to "You suck." LOL. It's okay. We can all have a good laugh out loud moments. Best books on deduction. Definitely Maria Konikova's book, Mastermind How to Think Like Sherlock Holmes, and Ben Cardall's book, The Monographs. Tips about a mind palace, I'll do a video on it eventually. Good night from Mexico. Goodbye, Daniel. Are you scrolling back up the comments, or is there an actual 4-minute delay? I am scrolling back up in the comments, but there is a slight delay. It's about 10 seconds of a delay. YouTube does not want to cooperate with me right now. Okay. What books did I read? Those 2 books that I mentioned. In Poland, it's 7 a.m. Nice to... hello, people from Poland. Deduction continued. So the reason you have nice clothes could be that you want to look good for your subscribers or low self-esteem, but you said you don't. So you're trying to look good for your subs, right? No, I really just like wearing this. Like, if I wanted to make this look more professional, I'd be wearing a coat. I'd be wearing, like, my sleeves would be rolled down, and I'd be wearing the jacket, and I'd have my hair combed and everything, and I'd be looking more like this. Something like that, right? But this is just what I wear casually. I did change and put this on, but that was because I was in clothes that I romp around the house with. This is more something I would wear out. If I'm just going out for a walk or I'm going to the corner store, this is the sort of thing that I would wear. But t-shirts, shorts. I usually only wear those sorts of things when I'm when I'm just wandering around the house, just because it's comfortable. Hello from Venezuela. Hello from America. That's not a rack. That is what's called a focus target. No one plays racket sports here. A focus target is used for martial arts. So a person would hold that, and then you would hit it with either your fist or your fingers or your here or your feet. But no, it's a focus target, and it's used for martial arts training, specifically not just to hit it hard, but also to hit it specifically to train your to train your feet and your fists to go into the right place. So it's accuracy training, and that's just a relic from some of my old martial arts training. What do you think about Sherlock Holmes by Marina Konnikova? That was a great book. I've already said that. Good Night, Beauty by Sid. I'm sorry. I'm not bilingual, unfortunately. I am learning Italian because I am Italian. My family is from Italy, and my mom is actually an immigrant from Italy. So I'm learning Italian currently, but I don't know it currently, unfortunately. So, I can kind of piece some things together from other Romantic languages, like Latin-based languages like Spanish or French or things like that. From what what is a syrupy carbonated substance called in your area? A syrupy carbonated substance, a soda. Good night, Jay. Thank you. Josh Smith apparently used to live on Baker Street, about a block from the Holmes Museum. Well, that is interesting. Okay, Clyde the Great says, sorry I gotta go, but I do want to say thanks for making great videos. Learning deduction is actually helping out a lot with my low spot in my life right now, and I really love your videos. See you guys. Thanks for watching, man, and I'm glad my videos can be of help to you. Ayum Lasti says, can philosophy improve deductions? Yes, I would say so. Well, it has for me at least, because the thought process of forming logical argumentation about philosophical concepts is something that I've done from a very early age, and is the reason I don't sleep, is because my mind doesn't know how to shut up. But it's, thinking like that is, and applying that to deduction has really made the transition a lot easier for me. So philosophy in and of itself may not help you gain the knowledge you need to make deductions, but the thought processes that you use to philosophize are similar to the ones that you use in deduction. Alexander says, do more knowledge stuff. I did get the results in from the survey from the last video, and yeah, knowledge base is what you guys are lacking in, so I'll do more videos on that. Nightshade says, just came here 15 minutes ago. Not sure if you answered it already, but what martial arts do you do? Okay, well, when I was a kid, I did Kenpo karate. Don't really count that because I did it when I was like 6. Then I did judo a few years later for a few months, so I got a little bit of grappling in. But then when I really got into martial arts was a couple years ago. Well, more like 4 years ago now. I did Taekwondo for about 2 years. And then I had to stop for various reasons, and I've been wanting to get into martial arts again, because I've had a lot of informal training as well as formal. Like I've researched things like Wing Chun and boxing and all these different things. And my brother is extremely talented with martial arts, like extremely. Like he has minimal training, but yet he knows techniques that are pretty advanced. and he knows how to use them very well. So he and I have always kind of sparred throughout our lives, so I've gotten a lot of combative training from that. So when I got into formal training with Taekwondo, my instructor said that I was pretty gifted, and I progressed really quickly, and I still have a lot of that knowledge and everything. But it's been a while, but I've been wanting to get back into martial arts, particularly a more practical martial art. Taekwondo was great for establishing some base things, the core movements, the core techniques, punches, kicks, all that. But and I really liked that school because he took it into a practical way as well with some self defense things, but not focusing on that. So the next martial art I get into I want it to be a more self defense heavy martial art. It's okay. Um, Sorry for wrong deductions, but observations, my big problem, as you said in your observation videos. It's cool. Yeah, no problem, Ayume. Uh, it's it's cool. I mean, you guys probably won't watch all 1 hour and 21 minutes of this later when it's uploaded. When I finally finish this live stream, you probably won't go back and watch the whole thing. It's cool. I don't mind answering a few questions twice. Do I enjoy biology? I actually do quite a lot. I enjoy chemistry more, but I did score a perfect score on my biology EOC back in freshman year. So I was, not only did I like it, I was pretty good at it. What video on my channel is the best? Oh, that's a great question. What is my favorite video that I've ever made? Uh, Man, I feel like they get better and better. Each video get you know, but if I had to say, oh man, it's okay. It's not even one of my educational videos. It's one of my comedy sketches. My favorite video is the plight of a Sherlockian in the summer. No, not even that. My favorite video is the mystery of the missing PB&J. Okay, so all the comedy sketches on my channel are just brain farts that I have in the middle of the day, and I'm like, you know what? That's kind of funny. I'm gonna make a video about that. So it gives me some creative license to make something that's silly, fun, and just fun all around. And it doesn't. Not everything has to be super serious and smart, in my mind. But in terms of my my usual videos, my favorite video is probably my video on the Watson factor. I think that one turned out the best in terms of editing. I kind of look like the American lip on Saturday. Good on you, mate. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's a compliment. I'm actually Italian. Kung Fu is interesting. The martial art I'm looking into right now is called Nabard, which is kind of a modernized form of Kung Fu. All these martial arts, they are martial arts, war arts. Martial coming from the root word Mars, which was the Roman god of war, everything. So, martial war arts. So, in their original conception, they were designed for combat, plain and simple. Over the years, they have sort of devolved into competition sports and things like that. So more recent martial arts, like Krav Maga, Nabard, both of those were invented in the last century. So they are what's called the survival stage of a martial art, where it's designed for nothing but combat. What is my favorite artist? My mom. Her name is Marcia Eloro Ransom. So go check her out. Nice, Lana. That's your favorite video too? Which one? The Plight of the Sherlockian in the Summer or the Watson Factor? Brazilian martial arts? Yeah, I have seen them. They're impressive. When am I posting the next Just Deduce It video? As soon as I get the time. Like, I've looked at all the pictures. If you've emailed me a picture, I've looked at it and I've made some deductions about it probably. So it's just a matter of making those videos. Word history. Yeah, I know. I'm so boring. Uh, do you know of any way to actually sort of solve cases online? I've solved a couple of crimes, like just looking at the um, police reports, the news reports. I've looked into various crimes. I would, if you want to do that, if you want to put yourself up to the challenge, I'd stay away from like the big crimes, the unsolved crimes that are really famous. I'd look at more local stuff, especially because if you do that, you can actually do something to help by sending the police information, and perhaps lead to them helping them solve the crime. Oh, the PB&J mystery. Yes. Yeah, that's. Why am I not surprised that that's your favorite? Okay. Okay, can I repeat this sentence? The place down the street puts caramel drizzle on their pecan pie. Is that funny for some reason? I mean, I know I have a weird sense of humor, but I didn't think it was that weird. You can find public records, like police reports and stuff, if you look for them, and you can also look at news reports and things like that. Obviously, the information is limited, and you're not going to have access to all the information that the police would, unless they actually call you to help them, which is unlikely. So, you're going to have limited information to start with. So, you're probably not going to be able to solve the case completely, but you might be able to provide the police, a particular lead that they might not have thought of. Okay, do you want me to say it more naturally? Like, the place down the street puts caramel drizzle on their pecan pie. Would that work better for your deduction? Do a collaboration with Observe and Sharonford, and maybe this new do knowledge. Sorry for my English. It's cool. I've got plenty of viewers from all over the world, so I'm pretty much used to broken English. Plus, my grandmother is Italian and speaks broken English too, so I'm used to it. Don't worry about it. If your English isn't that great, I'm not. I don't judge at all. Like about really anything. Like. When deduction becomes really a habit, at least for me, I've really stopped judging people because there's really no point. It's just information about the person. And unless it's really serious or I actually know the person personally, then I might judge them a little bit, but that judgment is not harsh in the sense of, narcissistic. It's always with the intent of being constructive and helping them. So if your English isn't that great, that's cool. It's totally fine. Yes, I will do. Observe and I are planning on doing a collaboration. It's coming out pretty soon. And Sharon Ford and I are also doing some stuff. And the new channels that are out there, I'd love to do some collaborations with them too. Do I have any examples of such crimes? Well, if I were to give you examples of the local crimes that I've researched into, then I would be giving you information about where I live. So no. Can being an artist, painter, pencil, paper, etc. help improve your way of thinking? Sorry for asking so much. Not a problem. There have been plenty of people who have been asking so many questions. It's cool. I am an artist. I love drawing. All the drawings, all the caricatures on my channel, I drew them, all of them. Ever since I could hold a pencil, I've been drawing. This, being raised by a painter is, it just kind of happens that way. So, it's like playing the violin, playing a musical instrument. Doing artistic things helps improve the way your brain functions. And my mom, having not been formally trained in deduction, is spectacularly perceptive when it comes to people. because she knows how to analyze art. So not only making art, but analyzing it. It teaches you how to think like that and kind of analyze people as well. She is the most perceptive person I know, probably, or have met personally. I know plenty of other people that I would say are more perceptive, like Ben Cardall. I've spoken to him before. Okay. As for martial arts go, I think it is best to get a base going. Then, if you focus on your understanding of calisthenics, then understand how to focus, then that way you can make a style all of your own. Yeah, I would agree with some of that. Getting the base core movements, and then learning more about the application of those movements, and then developing your own style, within that style. It's very much the case that everyone fights a little bit differently, regardless of what they train in. Lip from the American version of Shameless. Never seen it. I've heard of it, but okay, cool. Let me look that up real quick. Lip Shameless. I look like this guy. I don't think I look like that guy. Okay, anyway. Well, this has been fun, but I have to go now. See ya. Goodbye, Nightshade. When are you making observations? Since a long time ago. I don't know this, but I don't know, but do like big professional video. I'll try to do more professional stuff. I'm trying to branch out with my cinematography and editing and all that cool stuff. So. Oh, another deduction puzzle to my email. Yay. You sure you emailed me? I don't think you did. Oh, taking the pictures now. Do I have to deduce it now? Can it wait? Because I kind of have to go to bed soon too. This live stream's gone on for an hour and 30 minutes. I mean, I love talking to you guys and I love answering your questions, and I'm definitely going to do this more often. This has been a lot of fun. But and there are only 20 people watching right now, and I'm probably going to have to go to sleep myself pretty soon. So let's say we stop in 5 minutes. No, I don't live in Nevada. I live in Florida. I have said that before. I live in Florida. Okay, so Gabrielle, send me your pictures and we'll see if I can deduce them before I have to go to bed. Yeah, it's been an hour and 32 minutes and 38 seconds. According to the elapsed time stated by YouTube right here. It's cool. Just I haven't gotten the email yet. Do you know my email? Yes, I did put my email in the video, in the description of that video, of the deduction video that I did. If you want my email again, it's theartofdeductivereasoning@gmail.com. I made that email back when I made the channel called The Art of Deductive Reasoning, which I changed the name for various reasons, but that's still the email. Okay, that's cool, Gabrielle. Did I know that every 60 seconds in Africa a minute passes? Yeah. Wow, are you trying to trip me up with one of those weirdly worded questions? Yeah, I know what you mean. Higher quality pictures with good lighting are very well appreciated, Gabrielle. You have no idea how much more you're able to deduce when it's a good picture. Okay, well, it's Ayume says, well, it's one here, and I love your videos. Please keep working on them. Help me out a lot. Bye. Goodbye. Thanks for joining the stream, and have a good night. So much for not spoon-feeding us information. Oh, you mean about Florida? Yeah, well, I'm only spoon-feeding you that because I've already said it. Just look in my back catalog. Look at the plight of a Sherlockian in the summer. The last few frames of the video is, remember, never wear a trench coat or otherwise just like Sherlock Holmes in the summer, especially in Florida, unless you have a death wish. I live in Florida. That's all you can get. So that we form opinions of people within seconds of seeing them, I'm giving you a good rating question mark. Thank you for that. It is true that we do make opinions. It's just how our brains work. The thing is that, if you can make those opinions more based off fact, that's kind of the goal, is to make deduction a second nature to you. That opinion forming being more of a fact checking process. Scientists have shown that the more birthdays you have, the longer that you live. Come on, guys. Let's not devolve into this. Have I ever done any special effects videos? Yeah, definitely. I've done special effects in my last video with explosions everywhere. I'll try to take zoom in pics for the important parts. That'll be great. Thank you. Like books, guitars, and shit. Oh, man, if you can get me pictures of zoomed in pictures of all your books so I can read all the bindings. Oh, man. It's going to be great. Okay. Okay, well, when we get to 1 hour and 40 minutes, I'm gonna call it quits and get ready for bed because I have to get up early tomorrow. And what is my job, or what do you study? I currently do not have a job other than YouTube. I am applying for a job. It's going to be a front desk job at the place that I intern at. Oh, you accidentally put the question mark after your question? 3 exclamation points? Okay, cool. Thank you for giving me a good rating then. I'm glad that wasn't a question. We have 3 minutes left before I'm going to bed. So, any last questions? I'll try and be quick with answering them. So I want to email you pictures to deduce, but I want to go to bed. Can I send them? Can I send you them and you can deduce them later? Absolutely, dude. I've got a whole bunch of emails that just have pictures in them that I'm going to deduce eventually. So I'll make a video about it soon, ish. No promises, but yeah, totally. Just send it to me. Oh, Gabrielle's going to share a deductive secret of hers, depending on how well I do on the puzzle. I love getting rewards for solving deductions. The last reward I got was that piece of fan art. I got an email from one of you, so I'll deduce that picture eventually. Okay. Any final questions? What about autism? Are you asking if I have autism? Did you know the more junk foods you eat make you become fatter? I'm not sorry. It's okay. I don't forgive you. Well, if I did have it, I wouldn't tell you. Any other final questions? We are breaching the last 60 seconds. Oh, no, it doesn't upset me, not at all. And I could figure your passion is psychology. What is my favorite Stephen King novel? Never read him, unfortunately. Do I have a girlfriend? No, unfortunately not. Emotional things and romantic entanglement is bad for your health. In reality, No, I don't have a girlfriend. Um, would I consider it in the future? Yeah. But, you know, that's kind of a slippery slope. Because, at the one hand, emotions have their place. On the other hand, they can be distracting. So it depends on, it really depends on how well I would be able to manage that. So before getting into a relationship like that, I would definitely, uh, think about it a lot first. I've only really read the monographs and Maria Konikova's Mastermind: How to Think Like Sherlock Holmes. There are a whole bunch of other books on my list I need to read, and they're coming in the mail. But there's only so much time in the day. But definitely, those two books are fantastic. And if you haven't checked out Ben Cardall, check his stuff out. He's fantastic. Love his work. Okay, I think we've broken the 60 seconds mark. Is there a couple last questions. Is there any particular book related to okay. Have you read the DSM? No, I have not. How old are you? Going to school now. I've already answered this, but I'm 17 and I am a senior in high school. It's pretty much the only spoon-fed information I've given you other than the fact that I live in Florida. A pancake is a cake you make in a pan. Thank you, A Guide to Deduction. And with that is all I have for today. My name is Logan, and you have been really, really awesome, as always. Oh, wait, no, that's not my outro. That's Observes. Huh. I've always wanted to do that. Do I believe in God? Yes, actually. There are reasons for that, but since we're out of time, that may be a discussion for another live, almost said live stream. Am I going to teach anything, or am I just as messed up as you guys? I've taught a lot here, if you've been here the entire stream. Yeah, I play chess. Anyway, that's all for tonight, guys. We'll do a live stream sometime later. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Arrivederci, everyone, and have a good night. Now, since I've never done this before, I'm going to have to find that stop button somewhere. Where is it? Okay, goodbye, everyone. Arrivederci.